Dear students and viewers, in this video, I'm going to describe the type of sentence. So before I describe how many types of sentence we have in English language, I would like to start with the definition of a sentence. As you see there, a written English sentence is a group of words that says something in a fixed structure of grammar and punctuation. Every written declarative sentence must have a subject and a finite verb. Sentence types: simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex sentence. So there are altogether 4 types of sentences we normally write or we speak. So first, let me start with simple sentence here. So, a simple sentence has one independent or main clause, one subject, main verb combination. And for examples, here, we were sorry, the car stopped. Here in the first sentence, we can see a subject and an auxiliary verb and a predicate, that is an adjective. We were sorry. The car is stopped. So, to make a sentence, either we need a subject and a verb, or sometimes without a subject also we can make a sentence. But remember, without a verb, we can't make a sensible sentence. Like we can say, without subject, get up, close the door, wake up early, and so on. A simple sentence can have a compound subject, 2 or more subjects joined by a coordinating conjunction. For examples, Francis and Chris were sorry. Francis, Chris, and Joe were sorry. Here, 2 words, 2 names, and 3 names in second example have been added by and a conjunction. Still, it is called a simple sentence. For your kind information, if we don't use any coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions, that still remain as a simple sentence. But here, coordinating conjunction means and is also here, but to make a compound sentence, we need an independent clause and another independent clause. So, altogether, 2 independent clauses are needed to make a compound sentence. But here, we don't have 2 independent clauses, so we call it a simple sentence. A simple sentence can have a compound verb, 2 or more verb forms joined by a coordinating conjunction. For example, Alexander ate peanuts and drank coffee. Here, ate peanuts and drank coffee. 2 compound verbs are there. Okay, so it means 2 or more verbs have been used here. Okay, so still we call it a simple sentence. Here, the second type is a compound sentence. And the definition is, a compound sentence has 2 or more independent clauses without any dependent or subordinate clauses. Sometimes a compound sentence is called a balanced sentence. So, here in the example, you can see, John has been happy today, 1 independent clause, and he will be happier still tomorrow. So, you have to understand the meaning of a clause. A clause is a sentence. But what's the difference between a sentence and a clause? A sentence can be written without a subject, but a clause cannot be written without a subject. To write a clause, we need at least a subject and a verb. Here, John has been happy today. 1 subject, a verb, and predicate. And after a coordinating conjunction, and you will see another independent clause, which is, he will be happier still tomorrow. The clauses of a compound sentence may be joined either by a semicolon or by a comma, and occurring and a coordinating conjunction. As I told you before, like coordinating conjunction, there are 7 coordinating conjunction in English language. You can see there on the screen: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So here in the example, you can see the bus was crowded, semicolon, I had to stand all the way. So the bus was crowded, I had to stand all the way. You can see here 2 sentences joined by a semicolon. And if a semicolon is used in a sentence, we call it a single sentence. Okay, unless we keep a period there. So here are 2 clauses joined by a semicolon. Sometimes we can use a comma to join them. So here, the bus was crowded is an independent clause, and semicolon you can see there, and another independent clause here. So another example of compound sentence is the bus was crowded and either you write and or so. I had to stand all the way. You can see there, independent clause, the bus was crowded, coordinating conjunction, and either write and or so. Use one. Another independent clause, I had to stand all the way. So both the clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction, either and or so. In another example, you can see we had to stand all the way, but or yet we were not very tired. See there, the first is independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction. Either you use but or yet, both have the same sense, give the same sense here. Independent clause, another, we can see we were not very tired. For your kind information, I have displayed here a number of coordinating conjunctions, but for your kind information, let me tell you, there are 7 coordinating conjunctions in English language, and you can use the abbreviation of these coordinating conjunctions like fan boys. So fan, F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for nor, B stands for but, O stands for or, yet stands for, Y stands for yet, and S stands for so. You can see examples there. We listen eagerly, comma, for he brought news of our families. Let me tell you one thing. When we use a coordinating conjunction and 2 independent clauses, there should be a comma. You must write a comma there. And you can see other examples yourself. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So always keep in mind there are altogether 7 coordinating conjunctions in English language. And as I told you before, there are many subordinating conjunctions in English language. Some of them are than, rather than, whether, as much as, whereas, that, whatever, which, whichever, after, as soon as long as, before, by the time, now that, once, since, till, until, when, whenever, while, though, although, even though, who, wherever, whom, whomever, whose, where, wherever, if, only if, unless, provided that, assuming that, even if, in case, that, lest, how, as though, as if, because, since, so that, in order that, or individual that, and age. These are some examples of subordinating conjunctions which we use to make complex sentences, which I am going to discuss now. So here, complex sentence. The definition: A complex sentence has one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. Dependent clauses usually refer to the subject, who or what, the time, when, or the causal elements of the sentence, why or if. For your understanding, here is an example. Independent clause first, I've written there, we were sorry. Dependent clause is there, when we left early. So we have used here when as a subordinating conjunction. So this is called a complex sentence. Why when we left early is a dependent clause here? Because without we were sorry, the full meaning of the sentence is not understandable or clear for the listener or reader. That's why we were sorry, independent clause, when we left early is a dependent clause here. So both of them make a complex sentence here. If a sentence starts with a dependent clause, you should put a comma after it. On the other hand, if a sentence begins with an independent clause, there is no comma between the clauses. For example, see here, although it was end of the day, she didn't go home yet. So there are two clauses here, and first clause is called a dependent clause there, and second followed by an independent clause. So why dependent clause is there? So although it was end of the day, this part depends on she didn't go home yet. If you say only although it was end of the day, the meaning is not complete or it does not make any sense at all. That's why we are using independent clause as well. So although it was end of the day, don't forget to put a comma there. She didn't go home yet. And we can switch these clauses as well. Like you can say, she didn't go home yet, although it was end of the day. But when you switch it up, and when you just keep independent clause in the beginning, please don't keep any comma at all. Now, compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence has two or more independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. A compound sentence becomes a compound complex sentence when one or more dependent clauses are added there. So, to make a compound complex sentence, we need at least a compound, one dependent clause there. We can use two independent clauses, but one dependent clause should be there. To make it clearer, here are some examples for you. Many men and women today are being trained on their jobs. See that this is an independent clause. And you can see in green letters, some of them later study at colleges and technical schools. You can see one dependent clause where they improve their skills. So here we can see one coordinating conjunction and one subordinating conjunction where. So to make a compound complex sentence, we need at least two independent clauses and one dependent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction and a subordinating conjunction. Dear students and viewers, I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you think this has been helpful for you, it will definitely be helpful for your friends as well. So don't forget to share this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.